Hello and welcome everyone to the 2017 SERC Enterprise Challenge Final. Over 3,000 students have been involved in this process, developing innovative and creative solutions using project-based learning. Today, the 6 top finalists are here today competing for prizes sponsored by ARDS, North Down Borough Council and TransLink. And first up, we have a project called FEC, which is a collaboration between arts, photography and engineering. So I hope you all enjoy today's event, and now over to FEC.
Try to use my hair. Can you hear me okay and everything? Yeah. So good afternoon. Very glad to be here. Thanks for choosing us out of 3,000 people. We're very pleased. So this is a team collaboration between art, photography and engineering students. And our task was to make a sculpture that we felt captured the essence of the space building, all of its aspects being performing arts, music and engineering itself. So we as art students, we were the main people who designed the form of the sculpture and how it was going to look with the final piece. We then passed that on to the engineering students who talked to us about the materials and the limitations of them and how that would then change our sculpture, which we'll talk about later. And then lastly, that the photographers documented the whole process, and we feel like they were able to bring it together, and because they documented it all, we were then able to look back, change our project and form it into what it is at the minute. So next.
The first thing that we did within the art department was to bring our ideas together, and as an artist I was able to create drawings for design sheets to visualise the sculpture. One of our first ideas was we looked into ballerinas for the movement of dance, which is represented by the top and the bottom, but that was also able to link into opera with comedy and tragedy. The bits in the middle could be represented as like music or waves.
Perhaps even a flower.
Even a flower, yeah.
Lewis?
Hi there. My name's Lewis. I'm a photographer for this project. With my images, I create a story in each image. So with this one, of the sparks, I wanted to describe the hard work and hands-on work of Ali the engineer. So to even be able to capture this image, I needed to communicate with him with the health and safety risks of being this close to the sparks. And that was the whole point of this task, to be able to communicate well with all of the departments. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Alistair and I'm the engineer who designed or who made this sculpture here. And as Lewis said, like with collaborating with art and photography, we had to go through certain safety procedures, like wearing the equipment for photographers. Like Lewis had to wear overalls to protect him in case he got burns or ruined his clothing, and a welding mask so that he doesn't damage his eyesight, and kept him from a distance so that he's not in the way of, like, in case he gets tripped over a cable with the welding. And same for the art if they were around as well, with the safety procedures and all that. And it was good to collaborate with each of the departments, and it was a good experience for me and everybody in our group for our project.
So hello everybody, I'm Jamie, I'm also a photographer. We're more than just photographers. We tried to get everybody together on time, make sure everything happened. First and foremost, it was a true collaboration in my opinion. I guess this image here is of the maquette before this stage, so that was my first ever shot in a studio. First time I had ever shot in a studio, and I'm really pleased with it. What I tried to do was create the actual essence of what was going on here, the vibe within this building, incorporating all the different things that happen here, and obviously with a view that may at some stage be sitting outside this building. So I tried to create nice lighting, which would happen in daylight or sunlight, and we're really, really pleased with the process, really pleased how it went. Couldn't have went any better. Thank you.
Right, so that was our project. FEC, by the way, that's the chemical formula of steel, just in case you didn't know. And yeah, we're very happy to have designed this, and we hope you like it and choose it for the final sculpture. So any questions to finish off with?
Well done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just can I kick off? Just did you find that what was the biggest challenge that you found?
Biggest challenge that we found. I was actually trying to figure out what materials we were going to use. I think would be the biggest challenge, because originally we wanted it to be based around movement and to work with the weather. But the problem was that is just materials that weren't available. So we decided to go for something that was more light based, which obviously the materials were around for. So you could see that if this was placed outside, it would change the sculpture entirely at different times of day, because the light from above would shine down, create a different shadow on the ground than if it was the sun was setting.
It was important to communicate with Ali, the engineer, to be able to figure out which materials we would use.
Yeah, in the workshop we're limited with the type of materials that we're allowed to use. Like for the pieces for the top bit and the bottom bit here, we use sheet metal, which is easy metal to cut with, and the bend to make a shape that we needed for the main piece for it. And then with the main center rod here and these thinner rods down here, they're mild steel that we use that's just a main material that we use for in the workshop, and that's easy to access, but we are limited to a certain amount that we're allowed to use. And then this bottom piece here is just some like scrap material that I found in the scrap box in the workshop, and this copper sort of mesh is also some leftover material from another project that somebody used, and I just used it to make the wave pattern that you see in the middle there.
Did the team leave it to you to choose the materials, or was that a collaborative decision?
We discussed it with like I said, with like the materials that we were limited with, and we agreed as a team which would work best for which, and we came up with.
You usually have quite a lengthy discussion, though, didn't you, when we were photographing in the art department. These guys, we were just on the fringes as photographers, snapping away. But you must have been talking for a good like half an hour, 40 minutes about the materials. So you were saying what you wanted, and Alistair was telling you what was going to actually work. So it's important to get that point across now.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, not for me.
Thank you.
Okay, well, congratulations, and very, very well done. So we will see you after each of the competitors have presented today. Thank you in the meantime.
Thank you. Well done.
You got a dry run there.
That's us done the way out now. Just start, if you have any questions, just ask away at any time. We as a team are called XMEX. We collaborated together from different subjects in the hospitality industry. We will be preparing all this here for the Christmas Farmers Market on the 18th of November at Sunken Gardens in Bangor. We're just going to meet the team here.
I'm Christina. I am a level 1 first year student in culinary skills. I am art based, so I do the logos and stuff. I also do the cooking.
And I'm Natalie, and I am level 3 advanced technical diploma in supervision in food and beverage. I'm also the planner as well as the leader, and as well as the organiser today.
And I'm Tony. I'm also a culinary skills first year student and involved in most of the food preparation as well.
And Rebecca, she's also level 3 in advanced technical diploma. Unfortunately, she's unable to be here today due to other circumstances.
I'm Andy. I was one of the planners and one of the organisers. I know the whole team. I am a second year student in level 2 culinary skills. Brian isn't also able to be here today. He was helping my planner and he will be a server on the day. He is in the same class as me as level 2 culinary skills, second year. The team roles, that's just all what we have. We have planners, we have servers, we've got accounts, we've got marketing, and we have the chefs.
We were actually presented with a bit of a challenge in making up this concept, which was a very good business idea with the nachos, and
it was Mexican themed. We wanted to sort of bring it towards the Christmas market, something that wouldn't usually be there, and something we could actually stand out in the middle of a Christmas market. It's also, a lot of people do enjoy it. Previously I've made it before. It's cheap and easy to make. We compare it against other competitions, so the likes of BB Andrino's, it's based in Bangor. There's likes of Taco Bell, we got some of our ideas from them. They're not in this country, but they are one of the biggest food chains in the world. And also Boojum, who has just come over to Belfast the past couple of years. They're very popular, and we would compete against them. Our main audience would be towards the young parents with young kids, people who like to eat on the go, couples and elderly folk as well. What we have here is our menu. Chefs will bring this to you now. We have Mucho Nachos. They will explain to you what they are.
That's the extra toppings on the chili beef, and that's vegetarian.
The vegetarian comes with sort of twisted ribbons, just to make it a little bit different, as there's not really much else to go on a vegetarian option, unfortunately. Sure. But there is the chili beef is quite spicy, so we've added a flavoured creme fraiche to it as well, which is just some smoked paprika and some concentrated lime juice and salt. Sort of cuts through the flavour quite well. So yeah, I mean, if you'd like to try them, go on ahead.
Thank you.
With our nachos, usually nachos are always in triangles. Our unique selling point of this here was the ribbons. Vegetarian option, we really dedicated towards that there, as most people would be easier to pick up the vegetables off it. Triangles is better for me. It's just so we can tell the difference, and also customers can tell the difference between the two. Our sales and turnovers, we researched on Ards and North Down Borough Council. What we came across was the footfall for last year was 15,000 people had came through. We plan to make at least 2.5% of that footfall from last year. We will be selling, that will equate to 375 units, which we sell at an average price of £3.25p. That will bring us up to our sales as £1,219 on average. Our cost of our sales to make the food will be £615, and our gross profit percentage will be 51%, and that's variance on combination of meat and vegetarian dishes. Our sales, we'll be selling, this is only for the mature nachos, so we'll be selling our nachos at £3.50 for the meat dish. It costs us £1.64 to make, which gives us a profit of £1.86. We worked out then our gross profit as 53%, only for the meat nachos. We then came across marketing strategies. Natalie, do you want to go ahead with that?
Yeah, what we believe to do prior to the event is sort of get on Facebook and Twitter, create our own hashtag, get as many people talking and about our company and to self-promote ourselves. And then sort of on the night we'd be sort of giving like a special promotion of buy one get one half price. This would be sort of with our wee flyers that will give so many out and then bring a bit of revenue in.
The branding.
I've hand done all the logos and everything that is picturized on all the things. It's all done from scratch. It attracts kids as well as adults, but mainly cartoons. So kids are attracted. They'll bring their parents in, they'll bring their grandparents in. So we'll get everyone to come in instead of one age group.
We plan to put our logos on the napkins. Our logos are all on our chest. Plan to put them on our napkins. Plan to put them on toothpicks with wee Mexican flags. On the day of the event, we will have the sombrero, which will be Mexicanized. We will have a mascot on the day, and we will have our printed T-shirts with our different duties. As a group, we decided to choose this logo as cactus is normally classified as Mexican or something that's far out in the land. And future plans and projections.
Yeah, that's really where we'd want to end up once we've established the brand. So once we've been to the Christmas market and people know what they're looking for, then we're hoping to get use of the food truck at the college here is organising for future events. We'll have the brand up this side of it as well, hopefully sometime in the future, so we'll have plenty of opportunities to get to and from any other events as and when we can, really.
Thank you for your time, and we strongly believe this is a feasible project for the college and for students themselves, all collaborating together. Have any questions?
Well done. Thank you.
Well done. Yeah, thank you. Very good.
It's very comprehensive. So, could I ask you? You were just asking about profit there. When you were mentioning your products, and you were talking about 51%. Okay, so but how are you actually? Have you thought about a setup? A structure for your company, because a profit is not turnover; it's different. So you need to. Are you going to pay yourself? Or are you going to? So
at the start, we're all in it as a team. So we sort of want to build the business up before we even take a cut off it.
Yeah.
We want to build up our keep building our profit up until we actually have enough revenue to pay each other.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, that it would be a wage would be nice,
Yeah.
but I think really to begin with, you want to be putting as much back into the business as you possibly can.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure we can all agree at some
Yeah.
point we'd like a wage.
It's
That would be
same as all
big,
businesses. You have to go down to go up.
Mhm.
So if we're able to take the fall of not getting our wages, we're able to then
Yeah.
boost ourselves up higher and higher, and then work out what way we would do it all together.
and what was the cost of setting all that up,
To set all this here up,
including your branding and marketing and?
well, it's
Branding's
we'd only done
I got foundation work beforehand.
Okay.
we'd only worked out the costs for the food
per unit really is
per
is what
unit.
we're going off, yeah.
Our packaging it only costs us eight pence per unit, which will then it doesn't really affect the price much of anything else.
And at this point as well, we're only going off the back of what we're finding online in the terms of ingredients, prices, and everything else. Once we go actually properly wholesale, I'm sure the profit margin will increase because we'll be buying a lot more of it. So, you know, that's the bulk buying is where it's going to make all the difference in the future, I think, you know.
Well done. Very good.
Well done.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, thank
Are
you.
you going to leave these so we can?
Anyway, we've all our lunch sorted.
Yeah, sorted. Brilliant. Well done.
Thank you.
of the year, we have started to study level 3 childcare, and we had to produce a story sack that promotes the NSPCC Pants campaign. This is the book that we had to present, and it includes scenarios and rhymes to encourage the children to understand what this campaign's about, but also in a way that they can understand. We produced a story sack that includes an activity card so they can play games to promote this topic, and we can talk about the story and the children's favourite bits. We can retell a story using the models, and we can include games. We can make a bingo game with different items or words in the story, and we can draw or use clip art for the pictures.
So here we devised a leaflet based on a lot of information we gained from the NSPCC's website on their pants campaign, and this is for it's mainly for the child's parents, so they can understand how to bring up and come across the topic in a way that is understandable for the kids but not intimidating or scary. And then here we've got an article here about the NSPCC warning parents about child abuse and that these dangers exist. So a lot of that information's in the leaflet and how to bring it up.
We also have these puppets, and they represent all of the different characters that are in the book, so that the children can use these while the parent is reading the book, so they can interact and pretend and role play, so they can sort of act out how they would deal with the situation.
We picked a number of activity sheets that we can use to help the children to decide where they think that their pants should go and where their privates are private. We also done this activity sheet that they can bring their numeracy skills into, so that they can count the spots on the pants and again bring the colours into it.
We've also included these snap cards, so then children can play a game with the parents and they can gain photo recognition on the underpants.
So this book will also teach children if they do reach an unfortunate scenario with other people, it's okay to tell a grown-up about it. They're not going to get in trouble.
So as I said, we included a number of activities that work on the children's literacy skills, their numeracy skills. So then finally we've got these here sort of flashcards that work on their memory. So this again came from the NSPCC, what PANTS stands for, which will help the children remember.
P is for privates are private.
A is for always remember that your body belongs to you.
No means no.
T is for talk about secrets that upset you, and S is for speak up if someone can help.
And we've also included a washing line here, which will bring the numeracy skills into account again. And we also have different patterns of underwear. So you can ask the child, can you bring me the green pair of underwear? And that's encouraging them to remember colours as well.
Where's the laptop?
I see. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. That wraps
And
up.
that song will promote the NSPCC campaign to keep your private parts private and my underpants rule.
Brilliant.
Can I ask just how did you decide on what how to make the colouring bits, or how did you decide what visual aids you were going to develop?
Well, we already knew sort of what age group our target audience would be, so we had to make sure that every activity we included was suitable for that age group of children, that they were physically able to do it.
Okay.
And were you able to show any of these to children of this age, just to ensure that what you had developed would capture their imagination?
No, we just researched online most of the stuff that we got here from the NSPCC and whatever.
And how do you intend to actually, use it, disseminate it to the wider public, and to make people aware of your campaign, of the material that you have developed?
We could put these out in schools, so then the schools could give to the parents and they can take them home, and it can also encourage the parents to have that conversation with their children if they're at that age of having that talk and they find it quite hard to talk about, so they can use this story sack to make it easier for them to talk about it.
Okay, well, very well done.
Thank you.
That was excellent, and we will talk to you afterwards, after all the projects have been completed.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Then.
Thank you.
Well done.
When we joined SERC with our first week, we did project-based learning, which is learning by doing, and we were first of all split up. Did a quiz on the computer to see whether we were left or right-brained, and then after them results, we were split up into groups of 2 left and 2 right-brained people, and worked on design concepts of just plant pots, any unique design that we could think of, and then we've come together and voted on the best group's idea, and then overall took some ideas from other groups, put it into the group that was picked the best, and the main focus of it was to aim it at children, to get them into planting flowers, fruit, vegetables and stuff.
We started by trying to find some unique selling points about it. So we wanted it to be small and portable for kids to move it about. We wanted to attract them to try and purchase it, so we started by the bright colours and the sensory lights to give it a more tactile feel. And we wanted to give them an option to have a more competitive experience, so we maybe build like a game into it. Maybe. And there's some other things like a personalised nameplate or a hanging bracket, so you can hang up on your wall if you have limited space. Materials we were going to use with a choice between redwood and whitewood, pine, timber. We decided to go with a redwood, it's cheap and durable and it's a good one. But, the MDF and chipboard, since it's going to be outside, it soaks up a lot of water, so didn't really want to do that. And the plastic.
That's why the prototypes are made out of MDF, because they're cheap to use, and in the real final project it wouldn't be used as MDF because it soaks up water.
We were using other materials like plastic and metal for the wheels, so it's weather resistant.
When we were thinking of it, we decided on 4 main joints that we would use within the project. The first one first option was the butt joint, but we decided it wasn't the most suitable because there's nails or screws that would be needed to use for that joint, and we thought that wouldn't be the best particular option for something that you're selling to kids. The next one we thought of was the finger joint, and it was the one we thought would be the best for it because it is a tight joint and would work well. The other ones were dovetail joints and housing joints, but they're more sort of what's the word? Difficult to make, and it would take longer, so it would bump up the price a bit and you wouldn't be able to get as much out to be sold. So we ended up overall going with the finger joint. This is a basic planter core design which we decided to make using the computer, but you can tell there's some stuff that wasn't used, like the divider. We thought that it would be not as well to be used because it would take up more space and would be more materials. The joint we tried to show here in the corners, and then the wheels shown, and then this is the one we decided that we would go with, as it has the metal bits at the front shown. The agreed project proposal was the timber planter that will be used by children to grow plants and veg indoors or outside where space is limited. That basically is saying that our main focus was to sell it to children. The planter is designed to be attractive and fun for children to use, so overall it would keep children in and still growing instead of getting it, using it for say a couple of days, a couple of weeks, and then deciding I've lost interest in it. The planter will encourage children to grow their own plants in a fun and stimulating way. That was by maybe the lights and the game that we didn't really put onto it, but it could be designed into it. The water pistol to make it a fun way of watering the plants. A competitive element could be introduced, which that could be, as we have here, say you could put it in, say what plant you're planning on growing. It could be like a competition between siblings on who's could grow the best, or as this here, the metal bits are there for, as it's demonstrated here, plants to grow fruit that like to grow up. So maybe that could have competition, could be what plant grows the tallest, or the nicest looking plant, or any sort of way to make it a competition. The mobile design will engage children to place their planters where it will receive most sun or shade depending on the plant type, and that there's basically the wheels that were on it to make it be able to move, so it's a sort of fun way. The design can be easily adapted. Different options are available, shown here. It's pretty much the same core element, the fun plant pot, but in different ways. There's also here little accessories you can get. Maybe make it, say this, you would have it, these wee rings around it, measured each 10 millimeters. So then so the kids could know that once that ring's gone, it's 10 millimeters. Then they could put the seeds in it. And then this here to sort of stomp it back down and plant it. There's other accessories here, like this could be used as a chalkboard to write it in. What sort of, whose is it? What the plant is? How many days it's been growing it for? Whatever is needed to write it on. There's many things you can do to make it a fun and stimulating thing for kids to use.
Also, these aren't the final product because there's a lot of sharp corners, so we're thinking about completely rounding them to make it as safe as possible for all the kids.
This here, it looks weird here because it's not obviously on anything, but this would be used as a fun way to water the plants, just like the water pistols were. They could be here and just come up. The pump would be on the back where the water comes in, and then you could just
both rows. Plant, you water it.
That's pretty much it, I think. Isn't it?
Yeah. Any questions?
I was wondering, have you, you have described a lot of ways of actually making games or, playing, or involving the children in growing plants, but have you thought of a fun kind of manual to go with it, because, it would be great, to have something with a lot of, pictures of how the kids could actually, use the product. Because you're thinking of it now yourself, but doesn't mean that the child will think the same way as you.
Yes.
It would be nice to have something to suggest, what to do with it. Have you thought about it?
Well, not really. We were sort of trying to make the design as fun for kids as possible. This was just sort of get the prototypes in, then once made, then you could think of adding them in to the final product.
I think it's like all of the ideas we've seen so far, it's really, really good. Obviously that's the reason why you're here. And little details like the letters in the front, I take it you have made those yourselves as well, the letters?
Yeah,
they
were done on the CNC machine.
On the CNC, so everything has been done in-house. And you are mostly workshop based, is that correct? So you wouldn't be in a classroom very much. So I thought your presentation, some of the diagrams that you had are quite good, considering that you're not in a classroom environment very much, because you're trainees, apprentices. Yeah. Okay. Last thing, have you thought about how much this would cost?
Well, we're sort of thinking around the range of say $12.50, including the accessories, but over time, once it's sort of been on the shelves long enough, it would obviously go down. It was sort of meant to be aimed at £10, but we decided that for these accessories that we would need to put an extra, say, £1, £2, £2.50 on to cover the costs for the material for the accessories as well.
And is there any other competitors out there at the minute doing this?
There might be in the planter sort of way, but I don't think there's many in the same way as this here.
Yeah. Okay, well.
Just one more question. Have you thought where you would start selling it?
Maybe say online or in stores, or in like say Smith's or Homebase would be a good place as well, because while they're in with their parents, they're bored and then they see a nice colourful planter and they're like, "Oh, Mum, I want to get this here." So you never know. It's sort of a thing that would need to be fought off in more depth, but sort of Homebase and Smith's and the toy stores and planter places would be the best start.
Did you learn much about plants? Gardening?
I learned some grew up.
Clematis, I think. Well, see, it's all about learning. Brilliant. Well, listen, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Welcome to our presentation. I'm Mugla.
I'm Darryl.
I'm James.
And I'm Ewan.
This afternoon we're going to talk about the SERCAFE app, and we would like to walk you through the project with these headings.
The challenge we were presented with was to work individually and as a group. Individually, we had to think of 2 different mobile app ideas. Afterwards, once we were put into our groups, we collectively discussed and picked which one had the most potential. This challenge sparked our creativity, and we found that we are so invested in our solution that we want to innovate what we can do with the app. Our app is going to allow people to browse the menu and order and pay for the food to their specification. Payment's important because we don't want people to not collect the food that they've ordered. We are going to make this app available to the SERC family, which will include the likes of students, lecturers, and friends of the college.
We did quite a bit of market research. We not only surveyed users, we also talked to providers, the catering people, including some of the lecturers. What convinced us to develop the app is the fact that 4 out of 5 people said that they would use it, and there is 32,000 people attending SERC colleges. Here is one of the lecturers talking about the benefits for her. Here is a comment from one of the catering team talking about how the app would enable catering to build their business. I will give you a moment to read this.
Here are some of the key benefits of the app. We're talking about less food wastage. With the app, the SERCAFE staff will be able to see what food is on demand. This will lead to improved quality of food. We also want to provide better customer experience. This here will allow no queues because the food will already be ordered, and be increasing demand, and most importantly, it will increase revenue for the SERC.
As you can see, we have moved our thinking onwards from our original presentation. And there are lots of ways that we can develop the app in order to make it a must-have for SERC students and lecturers alike. The next step in the development would be to prioritize the ideas, probably using a 2-axis system. The first being ease of implementation, and the second being the impact. The ideas we would look at first are those of high impact and ease of implementation.
So today I'm going to be demoing the app. When you open the app for the first time, this is the screen you'll be met with. There are 4 options: menu, mobile ordering, loyalty points, and meal deals. The 2 I'll be focusing on today are the menu and the mobile ordering. But if I'd like to turn your attention to the screen here, we have a loyalty point system. So every time you buy an item, you receive 1 loyalty point. And once you accumulate 10 loyalty points, you're able to cash in those for 1 free item. So today, I'm not too sure what I want to eat, so I think I have to have a look through the menu. There are numerous things that I can have a wee look at. There's hot food, breakfast, miscellaneous, hot drinks and cold drinks. I actually think I fancy a panini. I think I'd find that miscellaneous. I scroll down, I see paninis at the bottom, £2.50, that sounds good to me. So I fancy ordering that. So I'll go back to the main menu, I'll click mobile ordering. And from here, I'll be able to just have a look through and try and find the option for a panini. So I think that might be in the lunch menu. I think a build your own sounds good to me. So I'm trying to be a bit healthier, so I think I'll choose all grain bread today. Don't really like avocado, so I'll leave that out. I have some turkey, I have some bacon, and I'm feeling a bit weird, so I'll have some tuna salad at the same time. So from there, I just scroll down to the bottom, I'll click proceed to checkout or add a cart. And from there, I'll be able to choose the campus I wish to order to, the time I wish to collect it, and whether or not I need delivery. And lastly, on the screen here, the last thing we've left out is the meal deals. These will be updated daily. We have these in place, so we believe that the college could earn a greater income from these.
The big idea is to sell the app to other colleges, but not to sell it just as an app, because then you'll only be earning a few pounds. What we are looking to do is to customize the app in order to earn SERC a lot more revenue.
Thank you for listening. If you've got any questions, I'd love to hear them.
Thank you, well done.
Thank you.
Well done, thank you.
Can I ask, is this, first of all, well done. It's very, very, very good. It's presented very well. Is this a template that you have used, or have you developed this yourselves?
So we used an online app called BuildFire, and it provided a number of templates, but we were able to build one from scratch. So at this moment, it's a prototype. So if we were going to, make it properly, we would use proper software, I would say.
And have you spoken to any of the college cafe, any of the outlets?
We have, yes. Downstairs in the O'Neill room in Downpatrick campus, they were very intrigued with the app idea itself. The head actually came down to see our app specifically because of word of mouth, and she was thrilled with it. She kind of was wondering why it wasn't implemented already. So, yes, we have indeed.
Thank you.
Have you spoken to any of the Zest, how it would work with them? They have a slightly different contract.
So at the moment, we wish to benefit like the O'Neill rooms as well.
Okay.
Zest, I know, is a larger canteen as well, but we also like to try and get them on board with it. I know they're an outside company that comes in to provide services for the canteen, but in the future we'll hopefully be able to get them on board.
Okay, yeah, and you mentioned just about delivery, whether you want delivery. Have you thought about how that would be implemented?
So each user will be required to log in with their SERC ID. So we want to make the delivery available for free for disabled students, and we think that could be done through their profile. Whereas we think we could charge maybe an extra 50p if they want to have delivery. This would mainly be for lecturers, as they might not have time to leave their class and go get lunch.
Okay, thank you.
And your collection points, would you work with the cafe to have a separate collection point to avoid the queue, or?
So we were thinking we could have one in the canteen itself, so people just go out and collect, or we could have like a mobile one in the centre of SERC, which we feel could also direct traffic elsewhere.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. You did
That's
very
very
well.
good. Thank
Very
you.
well.
Thank you.
And
That's
we'll
very
speak to you in a few minutes after the final team presents.
Thank you very much.
introduce to you our project. It's a project called WASTE, which stands for Water and Soil Testing Enterprise. We're a group of HND biology students from the Lisburn campus. So in our applied biology, we take on a lot of environmental analysis, which has aided us in setting up this business. So my name's Jordan Meredith and I'm the project manager.
Oh, I'm Matthew and I'm part of research and development.
I'm Ebony and I'm also part of research and development.
And my name's Sarah and I'm part of the marketing and PR.
There is a fifth member of the team, Svetlana, but unfortunately she can't be here today for unforeseen circumstances, but she was the analyst in the team. So Craigavon Borough Council came to us with the problem of a lot of algae bloom in the lake. You've probably seen it yourself if you've ever been around the lake. There's a lot of green over the lake, and this is caused by increased phosphates and nitrates. The phosphates and nitrates are the limiting growth factor for the algae, so the more that there is of the phosphates and nitrates, obviously the more algae there is, and this stops the light penetrating to deeper plants in the lake, which causes them to die, and then decomposers decompose it, so they respire aerobically, which involves oxygen. So obviously you can gather the more oxygen they use, the less oxygen for fish, and then fish die. That's not the main problem, however, and we discovered this last week when we consulted with Marcus from Craigavon Council. There's blue algae in the lake, which is actually very toxic and can be fatal to animals and humans if consumed. This has caused them to actually have to close the lake on various occasions, which costs them a lot of money. So we've tried to come up with solutions to deal with this problem, and Matthew will go through some of these with you.
Due to us being a student, due to us being students, and our final project last year was to test water, so we have experience in this. So we figured with the 2 weeks we'd set up a business within the SERC to actually test for the waters and maybe bring in funding for future HNC students to do their final projects within Craigavon. So with us talking to Craigavon Council, they're already interested in us pursuing this business and talking to them and letting the HNC students go out to the lake and the rivers to test their waters there. So this has already got us a few businesses started within it. And then the next slide there. We're a student-led local business which allows us to use the college facilities, thus bringing in lowering the costs that other businesses would have raised with them being, private businesses and whatnot. And it's a very niche market which allows us to have more opportunities in the business which other maybe, student-run businesses would have to struggle against. We're a small team, allowing us to offer more personal experience towards our clients, which you probably wouldn't get with other companies because there'll be more workers there, so it's not as personal, and if a problem goes wrong it would take ages to resolve. We've also collaborated with the business and IT schools within the college, and that's allowed us to set up a website and come up with an efficient business plan for us to run our business. Ebony will now take us through the analysis.
So as a team we've undertaken practical water and soil analysis, and we actually presented this to Marcus, which is Craigavon Council, and he was able to give us feedback on this, and we sort of talked it through with him, and he was discussing the levels with us and why we might be seeing these levels. So I can show you here some of the things that we've seen. So the pH was sort of always within the level. The green line across the middle there is the level it should be at, and it was quite steady over the 3 years, as well as the nitrates. The next one is the phosphates, and as you can see, compared to the orange line, it has been really high, which it shouldn't be, so that correlates with the algae bloom that we're seeing in the lake. We also done the soil sampling there within the past 2 weeks, and that is the results that we've seen, and the pH, phosphates, nitrates were all within the average. So next Tierna is going to speak to you about the marketing side.
So we teamed up with business and IT, and we were able to come up with these business cards. If I can just hand them to you. So this is our logo. Designed by Ebony, and our name came up with as well. So if you turn over, there's where we are, our contact information, and basically just what we are. And then and I have a website if you just wanna. So this is what our website looks like, and it's just what we offer on our team. There's pictures of us doing our different sampling, and then there's of us in the lab as well, so people who want to log in will go to services.
Is this on? I'm just wondering, can you see this, Gareth, or is this online somewhere so that everybody watching
Yeah.
this through the stream? Oh, this
There's a link here that I can get it up.
okay, great,
We
okay.
obviously, because we are science background, we did need to
just show
get help
me
from the
how
IT, so it's actually opened our eyes a bit to all the different skills you need. Instead of, throughout the schools, instead of just being from biology, you actually need like IT based skills and business skills, and it's helped us that way. But the website, there's still more to go into the website, but that's the initial basis of it. Obviously within the time constraint we couldn't have everything.
Yeah, and then we come out and do it, and then there's soil. And there's other services, if you just write in, then we're able to come out.
And the IT students developed that?
Yeah, they helped develop it, yeah.
That's really good. That's really good.
It's fantastic to know what they were able to do in such
Brilliant.
short time. I can leave them
Thank you.
Something that we're hoping to do is a postal service. So instead of them getting us to come out, say if it's further field, they can actually take a water sample or take a soil sample and send it to the lab at Lisburn campus, and then we'll analyse it, send it back to them. Instead of, because obviously it's the travel costs as well, which are going to be incorporated in it all, but that might be a more effective way if it is a bit further afield. So that's the website then, online if you use one. Yeah. So that's really us, and I would just like to take this opportunity to thank you for listening to our project, and also to thank you for the opportunity, because we are going to carry this business on now. We've got sample, we have to go out to Craigavon and take the samples, and I think Loch Ness as well. So, and it was highlighted to us by a parent actually that we could put it into leisure centres, because some parents are very concerned about the chemicals in the pool, especially if their child's swimming, like, you know, for competitively. So that might be another option in the future. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you. So what are your testing kits there on the table?
That's what we use to test the pH, nitrates and phosphates. It's just the chemicals that we'll use once we're in the lab.
Right, okay. And do you get those, you buy them in? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Yeah, enough?
No, I've nothing
Okay.
else at the moment.
Have you started? I'm just going to. I've got lots of questions. I'm
Yeah.
just going to perhaps ask you one or two. In terms of there's two things. Obviously, you need to think about developing expertise, as if you're interacting with clients and they want further testing done. Have you thought about that? Have you thought about how you're going to develop expertise and costing? Have you thought about how much your service is going to cost?
Yeah, we've got catalogues that the school, like, they order in so many chemicals, you know, like in bulk. So we just have to put an order in with them.
But it's been a bit hard in the time constraint. Like, initially we were trying to just get the business plan, because obviously that was hard for us to, not hard, but that was the more difficult side of it, because we're not from a business background, you know. We can tell you anything about science, but when it comes to business, so that was actually meeting with the business team, and then all of us coming up with a plan, and then the website took time too, because obviously IT is not our strong point, so we had to go and meet with them, come up with that sort of plan. So if we had had a bit more time, I think the cost would have been set, but as of now they're in progress, but not completely set yet.
Super. Thank you very much.
Are you aware of the competition on the market? Have you done any...
Pardon?
Are you aware of any competition on the market who does the same types of service than you?
As Matthew said, there is quite a lot of big companies, but the cost is quite extreme. So we're student led, so we can get away with doing it. You know, it's not, the funds are going into SERC, right? You know, so it's cheap and cost effective, and it helps our education as well, because, you know, soil sampling is something that should be included in environmental studies, so it's easy for, you know, Craigavon to pay SERC rather than larger companies.
Have you set, I know for a chemical process there is a process, I mean in terms of when you take samples you have to have a control and so on. Do you have a set process that you have to produce to Craigavon Council in order for them to guarantee that what you're doing is robust?
You see, we've just set this business up in 2 weeks, but the soil sampling and the water sampling has been carried out in previous years for Craigavon, so that's why we met with Marcus there last week, because he was able to say to us, well, you know, we actually do believe that your results are very reliable and have provided us with a solution to the problem, so therefore we'll be continuing with the business, you know, with you forming it as a business.
Okay.
So I think he was happy enough with the
he was pleased with the results.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wouldn't go ahead without the help of a number of people. First of all, as you can see, all of this organisation, all of these cables, mics and everything else have been organised by this wonderful team over here. So could you give them all a round of applause, please? Second thing, I know that many of you, this is your first year at SERC, and you may have seen some of the branding that we have regarding the Get the Edge. It's one of our strategic projects, and every one of you and the other full-time students who have participated in this process have got the edge over your peers in other colleges. And that is really, really important, because if you speak to any employer, and I know some of you are apprentices, so you do work for employers, it's not just vocational skills that they want. That's just simply not enough anymore. They want people like you, because you have demonstrated here today that you have excellent teamwork skills. You've demonstrated that you've excellent communication skills, that you've problem-solving skills, and that is what employers want. So on behalf of the panel, I would like to offer you a massive congratulations. All of you today here are winners. There are no losers. There's over 3,000 students competed in this, and you have made it to the final. So a very, very big well done to all of you. Okay. Finally, I would also like to, it was quite evident this year that tutors put in a huge effort. The level of presentations has increased dramatically from last year. So a big, big thanks to all of the tutors involved. Big thanks to the two the two judges who have also came here today. And a big thanks to our Principal and Chief Executive, Ken Webb, for taking the time to come here today as well. So, I'm now going to hand over to my two colleagues who will announce the prizes.
Corinne is going to present the prizes to you. As Kieran's already said, you've done very, very well to get to this stage, and this was very, very difficult. We judged you on 4 different categories: creativity, innovation, the business concept and whether it was commercially viable, and then your presentation and how you did your presentation to us. So I'm going to announce the top 2. The prize for second prize we don't have today, and that is from TransLink, and it's unlimited travel passes. So when Kieran gets them, he will pass those on to the winning or the team that's in second place, and the winners will receive the iPads. Everybody here today will get a voucher. So in second place is the Crazy Kids Planter. So well done. And in first place, and Corinne will present the prizes of the iPads. And if you'll stay as well, you'll all get a voucher from Corinne. In first place then is X-Mex.
Photographs now. I slipped up. I should have had some branding behind that. I don't think.
I didn't think your house was your staff.
Okay guys, just listen up please.
Thank you.